You're on, Tom.
Good evening. This is the Industrial Development Agency Board meeting for November 5th, 2018. And I want to call it to order now at 5:06 PM. I'm going to read this because there's a number of things going. One is to put in the record that we are actually on live. Around,
I forgot to put that in there.
all right, tell them.
Just a note for the public that the meeting is televised, live.
You can get it on,
now.
channel
And you can
22 if you want, or you can get it,
Get it on the, town's website.
right, okay, thanks. All right, I need a motion to consider the proposed agenda. I'll make a motion. Thank you.
Second.
Second? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Now, the next item of business was to be a public hearing for island companies, but we're going to have to postpone that to what we think at this point in time is December 10th, which would be our next board meeting. And, one of the reasons is because you have to re-announce this, is that right? You gotta publish it in the newspaper?
Right, and they asked for time for additional information to supply that, and, so we need to put it in the paper again. And if the board would approve that.
Okay, so what we'd like to do, December 10th, we're gonna be ready for the meeting, the next meeting is December 10th. That's redundant. We need it by November 30th. Okay, so anyway, I need a motion to do the public hearing then.
I'll make a motion for that.
Subject to all information
Thank
being
you.
submitted by November 20th.
Okay.
If it's not all submitted by November 20th, we're not gonna publish for the hearing.
Okay,
All
I'll
right.
second that.
You good? Yep. Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, that's passed. Now, we're gonna take the agenda out of order a little bit. And since Bob Castaldi is here, we'll take that next. Come on up and join us, Bob. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay.
So Bob is here tonight, as the applicant for the firehouse project, which has been underway for a couple of years. He's gonna bring you up to speed, and before you, and some information you received by email was respective to his potential tenant for the second floor.
Okay,
Well,
what you got?
we renovated it, we're in the process of putting it on the National Register. We had one tenant building's pretty much broken up into 4,000 on the east side, 4,000 on the west side, 4,000 upstairs. We had, brewery, well, let me go all the way
Sure,
back.
take your time.
Before that, originally, we were trying to get the farmer's market in there, but there was a little pushback. Everybody seemed to wanna keep it and have it on Main Street. So that kind of didn't work out. Then we were trying to do something with a farmer's supermarket, and that kind of fell through too. Then we were,
Good.
then we were, trying to work something out with the Chamber of Commerce to put in a kiosk and to put a ag tourism center there, kickoff place where people could come up, pick maps and, put a kiosk in and take off from there and go out to the North Fork or South Fork. That didn't pan out. So there's been a number of different things. Then I had a brewery come in on the 4,000 square feet on the,
Can you talk a bit louder?
I had a brewery come in on the 4,000 square feet on the east side. And they started to renovate and go through the building process. And then we started renovating the upstairs. There aren't a lot of uses for upstairs. We do have another brewery that's been up and running now for, about 9 months, and they're doing great on
Good.
the west
Good to
side.
hear.
Didn't work out with the brewery on the east side, but there are a number of breweries, they're starting to pop up. It seems like Riverhead's becoming the Milwaukee of New York. So they're
Oh,
popping
I
up.
like that.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, I even see where I am. I'm out in Cutchogue, and I see hops farms springing up as fast as the wineries were doing back 30 to 25 years ago, which is a great thing. So we're hoping to get another brewery in that space there. But the tenant I have right now upstairs is a law firm, and they want the upstairs, and I guess that's why I'm here tonight.
Okay, tell us about the law firm.
It's the Legal Aid Society, and they are, apparently, my understanding is, they are expanding, they're not moving. They're hiring, more people, and they need another location.
This is Suffolk County, Suffolk County Legal Aid?
Yes.
Where are they now?
I'm not sure, I think they're over by
They're
the
in the Suffolk County
courthouse.
offices,
Oh, yeah.
they're in several locations.
Okay, yeah.
But they do need more room, so they're expanding, it's my understanding they're keeping the current location, and this is additional space. They're reconfiguring the different divisions.
Are they gonna use all 4,000 square feet?
Yes.
That's good. Anything else that you wanna ask, or that you folks wanna ask? Well, based upon, what we said initially, is we'd like to know about the tenants before they happen. And, there's a few that wouldn't qualify, but that's not one of them, is it?
Well, what Bob didn't explain too is, over the course of the couple of years, it's been difficult to get a tenant, particularly because it's upstairs and there is no elevator. With the county legal aid society, they are making provisions for a downstairs conference room for anyone that is handicapped, so they can use it if in need, and that was, one of the issues with having difficulty in tenanting that space. But he did try with, in keeping the original vision of the project, and agritourism with a subsequent office space or, office space that was consistent with that picture, but it's turned out that it was much more difficult than originally projected.
Would we be okay with the, original, abatement in its terms?
Yes, this doesn't change the scope of the project to that degree, especially because he does have the original, brewery that
Yes.
was in the, initial application, or a brewery in the initial application. Do you have anything else?
No, I think the difficulty is upstairs space is hard to rent, particularly without an elevator, so it's,
Is there a separate distinct entrance, that door in the front goes right up the stairs, and
It
everything
goes-
else is segregated out? or-
It goes straight up, and,
I know there's an outside staircase on that.
yeah, that's the second means of egress for the, that's on the west side for the, offices upstairs.
Right. Nice, that nice space, I know that, I like that.
You should see it
Do
now.
some square dancing up there.
Yeah, I gotta come up and take a look at that, I've been there.
It came
Yeah, but I think
out,
the year.
it came out spectacular. It really
Big room
did.
like this,
Was,
all wooden floors,
The floors came out beautiful.
yeah, I
They
bet you.
really did.
Right.
there's actually, how many office spaces up there?
There are, there's a, when you go up to the top of the stairs, there's a, small waiting area. And then right across from that, there's a conference room. And then there are 13 there's a corridor that runs north and south, and there are 13 individual offices. And there's,
Wow, I have to come up and look at it.
and there's a kitchenette area, a small for microwave, coffee pot, typical what you'd find in an office. And it came out really, it looks brand new. It really did. We tried to keep the moldings and everything, to pick up what was there, you know, the heavy base moldings around the original windows. So we kept a lot of the flavor of the firehouse.
And it's a 3-year lease with, option for 3 more.
Okay.
And is it because of the age of the building, there's no elevator requirement on the second floor? I'm just curious.
Well, there was never an elevator in it.
Yeah, they had a chairlift at one point, just to load up the stairs.
So they're gonna use this downstairs office to meet their American with Disabilities Act requirement.
That's what I was,
And that's the
Yeah,
building.
that's what they're gonna use.
that's what I was looking at,
They,
okay.
you know, they have a conference, it's a pretty big area, it has its own bathroom, closet, so.
Now, that was taken away from the brewery side?
No, that was never, that was originally the commissioner's office, which was totally separate, never part of any other part of that building. There was no access to any other, they had
Oh, is that the one
when you go in on the right.
on
they
the
had a-
east side? Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
they
go
had
to
a
the front door on the east side.
fireproof,
Right, that's-
there's a it's huge, they called it a vault, but they had a
Right, yeah.
fireproof,
Well, there's a
room
cement
in
wall
there.
there, yeah, right, that's one,
yeah, so,
and that's still there.
it's still there, yeah. I mean, it's all solid concrete, the
Yeah.
whole, that whole room.
Yep.
Good bomb shelter.
So I wanted to stick.
Back to your question, on the elevator, if you didn't have one originally, it, is okay? You
Well,
know?
the building department is gonna make the decision on the handicap accessibility. It sounds
Ah,
like
yes.
they've made an arrangement to have this downstairs
What I
facility.
wanted to know, yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions? All right, let's, vote on that. I need a motion to, let Mr. Castaldi, take his tenant into, onto the second floor.
I make a motion to accept.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you're in.
Just get me a
Okay.
copy of the
Thank you.
lease or proposed lease.
Yeah, they're still trying to, they're going back and forth, but we're hoping to have that straightened out.
I gotta find out
Glad
when
you
the,
have it
when
rented.
the beer place is open.
They're
So I-
open.
So I come over, visit, have a beer.
They're,
You joking?
I'll tell you, they've been doing great, even,
Looks good.
I was there Saturday, they had probably 50, 60 people coming and going.
Yeah, I drive by there all the time, there's always people
And,
sitting there.
yeah, and
They
they're
made their
open-
own root beer too.
You got a little food
Oh,
truck or
I would've
something out
thought
front.
that.
Yeah, they've got the
Hot dog
little,
truck or something.
yep, they have, and, they're doing great, and it's, you know, they're just bringing a lot of people between 25 and, you know, 35-ish, and,
Well, it's unique, cause you actually, you feel like you're sitting in a firehouse or sitting in a
Yeah.
garage or something, you know?
It was made for beer.
Yeah, not a moonshine,
Do
you want.
you wanna know something? I said,
I'm not a
I
beer
said to
drinker, but-
somebody yesterday,
Not me either.
the
I'll have it.
perfect reuse for an old firehouse, there's nothing better to repurpose it than for a brewery. They have water lines that are 1.5 inches, which runs on the ceilings, which is right over their tanks.
Right.
They have giant drains, because I guess they used to work on the trucks and drain them down. And that's what they need for the brewery, they need these big, you know, 6-inch or 8-inch drains. So it just works out perfect, it's a perfect brewery, anyway.
Great, best
Okay.
wishes, thanks for coming in.
Take
Good
care,
to
Bob.
see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming back to Riverhead.
I'm here every day.
Good to see you.
You're always down south,
Tracy.
always doing something.
What?
You're always down south doing something.
No, that's.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, and then I'm coming back.
I'll see.
No, I bounce, you know.
You got it.
After 45 years of, killing myself, it's time. Go to God's waiting room.
There you go.
I'll see you.
I love it, Bob. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye, Bob, safe travels.
Say hello to your wife.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, Bob, you took the minutes. You took the minutes.
Oh, great.
If you want them, you can have them.
No, I don't know, something I should know. Okay.
and you're lucky you didn't take this.
Huh?
You pay heavily if you take this.
It's just an empty folder that I retrieve from them all the time.
Hey, I know that place.
Right there, featured, just there. All right, next on the agenda is, I need a motion to consider the minutes, of the meeting of October 15th, 2018.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All right, any discussion, additions, deletions? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, that motion is carried. And there is no correspondence. So, Mr. Treasurer, what's the state of our financial affairs?
Okay, cash balance in People's United Bank checking account as of October 31st, 2018 was $336,173.37. Revenues for the month of October 2018 included interest earnings of $8.89 and a $250 administrative fee from Peconic Management Group. Expenses paid, excuse me, on a cash basis for the month of October 2018 totaled $17,938.47. Motion to approve.
Okay,
moved.
second?
Second.
Any discussion? I don't have any questions either. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, report is accepted from the treasurer. Thanks, Tracy, this is very helpful. You printed it big enough so I don't have to look for my glasses.
Should the large Reader's Digest version?
Yeah. No committee reports?
No,
Okay. Any old business?
no.
All right, new business, there's a resolution 5918, consideration of a depository. Any concern? Gold Coast Bank. What are they replacing?
No one? We're adding.
Now,
People's United
Now
will
I
remain
remember.
your operating
okay,
depository. Unless things change in the future, this is to add another depository.
What was the-
motion?
what was the, which one are we doing? Which,
You're doing
5918,
5918, and
yeah.
all the resolution does is designate Gold Coast Bank.
so it doesn't
So that we
choose the
can-
options?
Not yet?
Okay, alright,
That'll
alright,
be,
okay, gotcha, alright,
Okay.
okay.
That's obviously not a local.
They're Southampton, they're in Southampton, but they're offering, and you'll hear in the next
When
resolution,
we get to the CDs.
the interest rates are much better
I
for
jumped ahead, sorry about
investment
that.
purposes.
I'm getting overexcited.
He's been waiting a year.
Takes small things to
A year.
get him excited.
Only 2 years.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
5918.
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, that's a good one. And then consideration to transfer funds 6018. That's the one we're talking about.
Yes, so you'll want to, discuss the amount of funds you want to transfer. So you were provided with scenarios. We currently have about 336 in the bank. The CFO's recommendation is to leave at least 6 months worth of expense revenue within our operating account. That's about $120,000. So you can, if you took a full year's operating expense today. And so you would subtract 265 from 336, that would give you about $70,000 if you wanted to leave a full year. If you wanna take the 6 months and subtract about $120,000 from that, that gives you about $216,000 if you wanna invest. You see the interest rates for the money market and the CD. One recommendation too, if you wanna be more aggressive, is to put more in the money market account so that you could transfer an amount monthly as necessary. We're allowed to do 6 transfers with 3 checks per month in the money market. So you can't use it as an operating account naturally. It's a higher interest bearing account at 1.5, but you could bulk load some of your operating expense revenue in there if you wanted to try and increase.
3
or make
transfers per month?
Correct.
Wow,
Pretty good, right?
that's pretty damn good.
CD's the higher rate.
The
People don't like to
CD
do
is,
that.
right,
People
the
don't like to
CD
do
is the
everything
higher
first.
rate. I'm just explaining the money market so that if they wanted to have access. And as you're aware, in the email, I stated there's a penalty if you, for whatever amount you need to retrieve from a CD. If you break it early, it's 3 months worth of interest, earned or unearned. So you may wanna, put 50,000 in a CD, or be a little bit more conservative, less conservative, and then put the remainder in the money market. That's for the board to discuss.
So let me have a motion, so we'll put this on the floor and discuss it.
Make that motion.
All right, second?
Second?
All right, so now we'll go into discussion. Anyone wanna start as to what you think we ought to do?
I'm ultra conservative. I would go with proposal number 1. I think the difference in the interest of $375
Okay.
is not that great.
Bob, your thoughts? You wanna look at it some more?
No, I think I'm pretty, I mean, conservative, and I would think that number 3 works. The thing that I will ask is, what is our expected income in the next 6 months?
Wouldn't that be nice to know?
Yeah.
I mean, that would help
I'd
offset,
given you projections during the last meeting when we adopted the budget. I'm sorry I didn't bring it. That's what I,
Off the top of your head, roughly, is it over
we're not
50?
gonna bring in any new revenue for the next 3 months that I anticipate.
Okay,
Maybe 1 project if we expedite.
so, but we're talking 6 months, so, nothing.
I honestly don't wanna go off the top of my head.
Okay.
I wish I had.
No, it's
Been
a
asked the-
lower amount, and as you know, each year, what we try to estimate what's gonna happen, but it's usually off big time one way or the other, because things happen sometimes when they happen.
Well, is it possible, as things start to work out, that you could purchase additional CDs and step
Well-
them along the way?
Yeah, we could step,
I mean, so you don't have to, I mean, I don't really have to marry everything into one right now, I think it could.
Right, well, while you're thinking, I'm still on proposal 2. Cause I'm an in-between guy.
When we,
Either this way or that way, or in between.
when we project our budget for the next year, we use the 3 previous years. If you go to our budget, sheet, our actual and proposed budget sheet, it gives you your projected income for the year. So if you wanna split that in half, to give yourself an estimate of a 6-month revenue, I mean,
Oh, that's what you
hmm?
did. That's what you did.
No, that's not what I did.
No?
No, we based it on, actually our necessary expenses and retaining the amount necessary for funding the agency for at least 6 months. in order to get a greater return on an investment, taking what we do have
And
in
you're keeping
cash,
that in Peoples,
keeping it in People's, correct.
so you really, whatever you put in the money market can sit there for 6 months as well.
It could sit there longer if we bring in more revenue, but we wanna retain about $120,000 in our, operating account to cover our expenses, and the excess would be invested into a higher interest-bearing account,
Is the end game to
get more interest.
extinguish the People's Bank eventually?
No, no,
See, my not.
They were an operating bank, is that correct?
yes,
And this will not be an operating account, Bob?
The only reason why I would go with 3 is because we know we're good for 6 months, right? So the penalty, should we have to withdraw money, is gonna be 3 months, which still puts us ahead of the game. We've gained that interest, right? So it's not like, so we're still ahead of the game, however you look at it.
just
Right.
remember, there have been years where we have not closed on one project. But you're right, the penalty is what, $500 or so?
Let me ask you some questions.
But I'm gonna
Oh,
defer.
you're not done, okay.
No, I'm gonna defer, you know, you had,
We got 1 for 1, 1 for 3,
How
let's
much
do a
was that?
tiebreaker and do
How
number
was
2.
Tracy, how much was the total interest income of all of last year?
Oh, God.
$32.12.
Well, that's-
Yeah, about,
well,
actually, it's probably,
and that's gonna be part of my point,
it's probably
is
on
that
your,
we've gone from,
know where
we're
you're
going from 0, even if we take
Let's say
proposal number 2, we're getting $4,000.
to date, $68.
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it, it's nothing. Every time we make a financial report, it's
Right.
$8.20.
I know,
Right.
exactly.
It's a joke.
Cost us more to produce the
The
report.
paper's more expensive. Look, I'm fine with 2, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm fine with 2. Because even, like I say, even in the 7th month, if we had to take some money out, we're gonna lose 3 months, we're still so far ahead of the game.
Right,
It doesn't, you know what I mean? It's in our favor,
Yeah.
no matter how we look at it.
Here's my question.
yes.
If you're done. I'm done, thank you.
I think I know the answer, I just wanna make sure. All right, it doesn't matter which one we go but let's say, at some point in time, unfortunately, so I'll use 2 because it's somewhere in the middle, we find that we need more money than the 100 and,
20,000?
yeah,
Mm-hmm,
so we can get it anytime we want out of the money market. There's no penalty, except we don't
Correct.
get any more interest,
correct,
is that correct? Okay.
correct.
So it's not like the CD where you do get a little bite. Are there any fees other than what you get?
No.
They already take it out and they shave the,
Mhm.
money market interest rate.
Is there a minimum deposit?
That I didn't ask.
I saw something in there, I think it was 10,000.
What, yeah, I may have passed on, this has been going on for months now, I don't remember all the
It's so low
initial
that it won't hurt.
information.
All right, and the FDIC is on this?
Yes,
up to
FDIC
250
insured,
for one
mhm.
bank?
Is the
Mhm.
FDIC on the money market as well?
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
have to collaborate.
I would assume it's collateralized as well,
So why don't we just say, why don't you just add after Gold
Who
Coast
provides that?
Bank fully collateralized,
Yeah.
on the resolution.
if that's okay?
So this way, we could put more in there, cause we know we can get it, we just won't get any more interest when we take the money.
I was just gonna,
Transfer, oh, here it is, transfer.
Hopefully you'll never have to take it, it just grow.
Well, that's our expectation.
cause they may change the
Yeah,
mix
should
from time to time and the collateral will change with the mix.
Mhm.
So if you were to go to, 3, you'd get the most money by, as, Tony mentioned, there's another, what, 400 in there, 300 something?
No, he's
Over
talking,
number 2?
he was talking number 2. It's $375 difference.
Yeah. So then you lose 375 to get the $50,000. Well, yeah, okay.
So that would be about
That's what the CD.
185 liquid. And our estimated budget, operating expenses are about 265.
All right, well, this just tells me that, I've got a hedge. I hope I never need it, I hope this organization never needs it, but
Me too.
we have a hedge if, we have to get more money to get it without penalty. So rather than go all the way to, three, I'd also buy the idea that we're making $68 now for the year. Any one of these is pretty attractive. So I'm gonna stay with two.
We've got one for one, one for two, one for three.
No, I can live with two.
I'll go with two.
Yeah, I can live with two,
Okay,
cause that kinda,
Yeah,
that extra
that's
money
really a
is the
split
penalty.
baby, the CD is the one you're concerned
Right,
about.
yeah.
right.
You don't wanna jeopardize that, money market's not a big fee.
you know what I'm saying, so,
So are we better off than with three?
All those in favor of,
well, that's
Tom,
what, the
so,
thing is, that's what I,
maybe this should be
Explain it to
reworded.
Tom.
okay,
I think I'm hearing it.
so
I knew I should have made it lengthier,
the,
just so that there's
have
a
what Dick
balance
mentioned.
of a minimum of $120,000 in the operating account.
No, you were picking numbers,
Okay, okay.
Your sheet picks numbers, right?
Whereas the
we're just adding
amount
in,
of blank,
But the money would have to come out of
we're adding
one.
in that
Okay.
this is,
Right, you're doing that,
Okay.
you're doing
Mhm.
5165,
that's
right?
why I was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's what
unless
I'm
you
just
don't
looking
want
at,
to
because
do
we
that.
wouldn't have any money to take out.
we're adding that this is FDIC insured for both
No, the CD,
CDs and,
the
money
CD
market.
is the
If
early.
the money, if we
withdrawal.
learn
In
that the
other
money
words, if
market's
we can
not
use the
insured, it'll
65
be
if we eat into
collateralized.
the CD,
We're gonna add that to your
the
resolution if
CD
that's okay.
penalty for early
Yeah.
withdrawal is
Okay,
3
it's
months.
just in
We don't know
CD.
the answer right
It's in the
now.
CD.
But we don't need to as long as they
Not the
collateralize
money
it.
market money.
Okay, so here we go.
So there's no penalty for taking out the money market fund?
Correct.
No
Okay.
money?
No, and you can do 3 checks per month or 6 transactions.
Okay.
So if you need it,
Anyway,
out of the $115, you can, we can take it out, so it's,
you anticipate something,
it's
just do a
liquid.
transfer out, yeah?
I'm sorry?
If you anticipate something, you can
you
transfer out.
concerned
Yeah,
you guys are
right.
gonna go big time?
Well, no, it's not big time,
I'm
it's a matter of the, you know, I mean, if we did need to take money out of the CD, we're better off with a higher amount, because our,
The higher amount
our
of what, the
net-
CD or
yeah,
the, money market?
the higher amount in the CD, if we had to take money out, I mean, we're still gonna
You
be,
still got your $65,000 to take out if you go with three.
yeah, you got 65,000 to take out without any penalty, but you've got 150,000
I know
collecting
that,
interest. Okay, so,
So are we still on proposal two? Because I'm gonna ask for a motion.
No.
No,
You
we're
have-
on three.
We're
You
on
have a
three.
motion and you have
So
a
now
second.
You guys are going our way to three.
We're on three.
Oh, now you're steering to 3?
You got
Well,
65,000
as we go through it,
Do I hear?
do you
Plus-
have, do you
plus
have,
you
do you have
got,
a thought?
Well, I'm glad there's not a fourth proposal here, I can tell you.
I give him too many choices, I should've just gave him one.
no, I'm glad you gave us 3.
All right, well, let's poll the deal. Those in favor, give me the proposal you're in favor of. Tony?
I propose that we choose proposal number 3.
Bob?
Number 3.
Okay. We need three, because there's only three of us, right?
Correct.
So, I'll agree, so we get a majority. So we'll go with proposal number 3.
Okay. I better get working. So,
That was the.
Are you
was the reason.
uncomfortable
Yeah,
with
but
that?
Tracy,
Yeah.
the only reason. for
locking money always makes me
No, no,
nervous.
but you have access.
No, I get it, because
Okay.
even if we have a penalty, we're still ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Okay. So, we're all in favor of proposal 3, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So moved. So, decide. That's it, and the FDIC doesn't come into play unless there's a problem with the money market. And we can fix that. Okay, thank you.
So the amount is 215,
Or you're gonna break it between those.
right.
Ready?
Did we do a vote? We did, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I did it by
Sorry,
polling,
I
so
was
I have,
calculating
I
over
have
here.
three for, proposal 3. So that's our,
Makes the world
Okay.
go round.
Finally, that was only like a year and a half.
$68 is gonna be gone soon. It's gonna grow up quick. I know, it really
Yeah, no, it's good.
is. You don't know how much that hurts.
And they're very, very accommodating. They're gonna come to us for all the signatures, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Now, there's no issue with county legal aid going into the firehouse, right?
They're a not-for-profit corporation, that, is just like any other tenant.
So there's, okay. In case somebody asks me a question.
All right, any other new business? None?
None,
Executive Director's report?
it'll be quick, I'll just bring it up to speed. I put, what I could, I printed it off the New York State Economic Development Council's website, so it's a little, it's,
Oh, yeah, I think I have it.
you know, blurry and got writings on it, but I was trying to get the fact that our logo, the town logo, is on the website as a sponsor for the manufacturing symposium. We already have 2 of our manufacturers attending.
Hey, look at that.
But it's a nice agenda, so you can read through it, and that is on November 27th at the Melville Marriott. The other thing we're working on is, as I had stated before, the Opportunity Zone workshop. It is set for December 5th at Hotel Indigo in Riverhead. We have received a sponsor, Bridgehampton National Bank, who we met with to actually explore opening up an Opportunity Zone fund. We're still gathering information, it's in the infancy stage. This is an effort, a collaborative effort with the town of Brookhaven's Economic Development Department. So we're having our workshop on the 5th as a lunch. They will be having the same workshop the 6th, the following day, as a breakfast in Brookhaven, so that the manufacturers or anyone that is in an Opportunity Zone or interested in has an opportunity at both times to go to either one.
What time is that?
This will be the first of a series probably, because it's going to be overwhelming in information. But we're gonna do an overview and try and educate developers, bankers, financiers, brokers, property owners, and officials on what the Opportunity Zone designation is and how it can benefit our community, as well as how you can benefit yourself.
What time is that at the Indigo?
12 o'clock registration, 12:30, the program will begin.
You guys, should go if you can. I think it'll be, potentially very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Opportunity that, opens up how to finance things.
Dawn and I have, Dawn really, out of her office, we worked on a prospectus, you know, a little overview. We sat with the supervisor to brief her, as well, and the supervisor gave us a good idea of trying to do almost like a Mylar overlay. We were just gonna do a map, so she's exploring that, should look nice. And we'll do a little Riverhead pitch in the beginning. The representatives that have volunteered their time is, William Weir from Nixon Peabody and Paul Gewurtzman from Anshin. Both very large firms. They specialize in economic development incentives. I'm familiar with their agencies throughout working with them with the Empire Zone. They were always ahead of the game on everything, so,
Wow, exciting.
yeah.
Yes. All right, that's the executive report, you got some more?
Let me see.
Better keep doing those supposing to keep that CD floating.
Well, yeah, the pressure, oh, the pressure. We have met with, over the course of the last month, numerous developers, potential developments, many of which I can't disclose. But we have an agricultural project, in the hopper, and we have, a luxury, market rate apartments proposal for downtown to balance out,
Which one?
that disposable income, and, it's all good, busy, busy, busy. Very busy, and maybe even more busy as of tomorrow,
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
yes. Well, probably Thursday morning,
okay.
that'll be fun.
That's what, right? Well,
Oh, after,
Discussion.
yes,
all right, we'll talk about that later, and so,
and that's it.
Got a couple of things here, let's see.
Is there flyers or pamphlets or trifolds that talk about the IDA?
I do have a trifold, it's a generic trifold, I can actually PDF it,
Cause
but
even to this date, I hate to say it, but even to this date, there's so much misinformation out
Nothing
there.
that-
Because people use it as a bullet point,
yeah.
and wrongfully, to people who don't really understand it. And I do understand it, when I explain it to people, they says, well, how come we don't know
My
that?"
husband still doesn't explain, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I learn something every day about this program and the potential it has.
Right.
You know, you really need to know the law, and it's, each project
It'd
is
be nice to have a little,
different.
just a little thing I could hand somebody, just with some
Stats?
fun facts, I mean,
Okay.
it's just something, people like things easy.
Why don't you send Jim that
But-
email about
Did you know that
the
the
New York
IDA
State
does this,
report.
this, this, and this, and this, and this?
Yeah,
And also can direct them to our website, to the information that we presented at the work session,
yeah, they,
which shows the little
well,
tiny
that's
sliver
on our
of what we
website, it's
have.
on our Facebook, it's
That-
a long
that was very-
presentation
That was
though.
very informative, but
Yeah.
most people, they wanna, you know, they want,
Right, right. I can try and put some bullets together, it's just, you know, the program,
even if it just directs them to the website at the
Yeah.
end, you know, somewhere. It'd be nice to, just to have them floating around and pass out, or have on the table or something. That's
so they
all.
could burn it and rip it up and.
Well, you know, people, it's just, people just think that, you know,
And
you're
it
giving the
says,
store away, and you're not.
Embrace the IDA on the
You're
cover,
creating a store, you're not giving it away.
Right.
You're, you know,
that we're bringing you revenue,
not only
Period.
revenue, but you're doing creative placemaking, really.
well,
I mean, so there's a lot of things at play,
mhm,
you know, so.
Speaking of that, we had, some cursory, I guess preliminary discussions on what looks to be a phenomenon that's gonna continue to happen, and that is that some of the box stores on Route 58 are not gonna be, re-inhabited by somebody else. And someday, there's gonna be enough of them where there's a lot of space that could be used for something else. There's a number of people thinking about this, and including us. And when we have the rest of our board, which I'll go into in a moment, the other member of the board, that is, it would be a good time to take Lori's thoughts about having some kind of strategic planning session sometime next year. This would be one of the major topics. We may have other things to talk about as far as these opportunity zones, but whatever. It's time to start thinking about that. Maybe too early, but,
never too early.
It's not too early.
so you're okay with that as a concept? I'll give you dates, probably in December as to sometime in the first quarter.
I can tell you that, I mean, through the Ag Committee, there's already been, as of about 6 to 8 months ago, there's been a study that was done and presented to us, by
You
a
seen that one?
planner in Brookhaven,
Okay.
anyway, so,
Scare up a copy for you?
it was a verbal presentation. I'll see if I can get a copy, if there's a white paper on it. I know there was a verbal presentation.
And you're talking about the anticipated box stores?
Vacancies?
Yeah, that's what it was about.
Well, there's some already.
Right.
I can only think of one off the top of my
They're
head.
gonna continue to stay
Mhm.
vacant.
Walmart, TJ,
Yeah.
Swisslard.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
But, right, and trends are changing, that's, you know, that's,
It was my I mean, it was my understanding, and, yeah, I stand correct, is that we can look at 58 and do projects over there?
Well, that would be part of the discussion,
Okay.
is what needs to be changed in order to do this, so let's just save it for then.
On that,
clearly,
as a legal question, you're allowed to do projects on, 58 has no prohibition, it's just that it has historically been competitive
big box
retail.
retail, right.
And competitive retail is not something that you're currently permitted to do, so if you were to do some alternative to competitive retail, then you'd be an ideal, tool in the toolbox to help that along.
With, again, exceptions to retail. For instance, when you were exploring the movie theater in a formerly blighted vacant property. There's no other movie theater in Riverhead, so there are exceptions, but for the most part, not only was it, not embraced by the community, but retail exemptions.
Well, I know the TDR committee and all that are looking at different avenues for even looking at different classes of zoning on 58, certain areas of 58.
exactly where it came
To allow for some sort of
Right.
density, some sort of residential density.
And that'll be part of the discussion. I
Right,
certainly don't
there's
wanna
lots of
create,
ideas out there,
silos
sure.
or side by side.
That's,
Talking about the
that's
same
what I
thing.
was referencing, actually.
Yeah, there is lots of ideas out there.
So that may be part of our initiative to try to be
So what,
supportive
like
of bringing
58
those
kill
all
Main
together.
Street, now Main Street's gonna kill 58.
That's right,
Isn't that something?
It's
It's
a-
a,
it-
it's a yin
it's
yang.
history,
It's a-
yes.
Things change.
It's a
You never know
generational
what's gonna
thing.
happen.
Yep.
Okay, now, the town board, the few members I've talked to, unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity to talk with you, but my understanding is that, the town board will, among its other busy schedule, on Wednesday, select our replacement.
Have you seen the, I do have the resume, now I heard you were, I asked about that and he said that you were involved in some of the communications.
Yes, so, I unfortunately was going away at the wrong time to Seattle, but, the supervisor and I worked out that I would interview the two top favorites myself, and then get back to her and explain how that worked out, be a part of, their, process, and I did. And I've since notified them being supervisor and,
Personnel committee, Tim Hubbard, right?
Tim Hubbard, since they were on the committee, to
Yeah,
find the,
I used to be
some
on it
people
till
that you
6
as
months
board
ago.
members would do. Sorry?
they threw me off it, I used to be on it, so.
Well, I'll let, I'll talk to you about it, but, so
you-
that ought to be done by Wednesday, and then we'll have a full house
So
again.
you made a choice and you're happy with the choice?
Well, I can't speak for them, I can only speak for myself,
Right.
and what I recommended. And I would be very happy for this person, as well as the other one, but for this person to be, a member of our group going forward.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens, but I, for one, am, very, I would say positive about this. So I'll let you know as soon as that happens. That's all I have. Anybody else? Okay. Give me a motion to adjourn.
oh, I just wanna say that, as a reminder, the next board meeting is not the first Monday, the first Monday is Hanukkah, so it was pushed off to December 10th, so it's the second week in December, just,
I can't believe I went out without my phone, that's so great,
I know.
what a wonderful
Yeah,
feeling.
You look.
No, and, my secretary put it right on it, it's on my calendar. December 2nd?
she knows
I got
10th,
two things I have to ask you on now, right? Quick, real quick.
close this out,
Okay,
5:53.
at 5:53, all those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Okay,
Bob
we
motions.
adjourn.
Tony, you gonna second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay.
Credit Levy.
Thank you.
Now we're really gonna talk.
Oh, jeez.